Hello everyone, Damien here from DKBrickStudios. Today, we'll be doing another Build Talk video. Yes, indeed, we'll be doing another one of those. So yes, today, we're going to be looking at the construction of the Lancer today. Yes, indeed, we'll be doing that. And also, we'll be talking about cut content from BioShock. Not just BioShock 1, but BioShock 2. I would go into Infinite, but I just want to cover BioShock 1 and 2. Because that's what we're covering on this wave of BioShock stuff. So yeah, let's get into this. Shall we? Let's let the intro roll before we get all into that. Shall we? Let's. Alrighty, so today we'll be talking about the cut content from BioShock 1 and BioShock 2. Now, this might be a multi-part video, like I have had with, like how these videos have normally been with the Big Daddies, where there are two parts to the construction of this, because it would otherwise been a 2-hour-long video, and I don't want you guys sitting there for 2 hours watching me just build this and just talking about about stuff. So, and plus it makes it easier for me to just talk about things, break it up into separate things, so I have to be creative about what I have to talk about, but still. This might be two videos. We're going to do 2 separate videos of BioShock. So, of cut content from BioShock. So, okay. No, there's just something going on that I thought I messed up technically, but nope, I didn't. Good thing I didn't. Ignore that. So, so pretty much, you guys should know that with every game, and not just with games, but with movies, things get cut out. Like, I will say, it's like with every movie, how the movie started off when it was just a script to the final product are very different things. They can be very drastic. There are very drastic changes that are made, and that's the thing to be made with BioShock. Not just BioShock, but the game as well, the franchise as well, the project with video games as well. I don't know much about video game making production, but I know for sure that the tutorials, they're not tutorials, but the builds, where you want it to start off in can end up in what the original idea can be completely different than what the game finally is. And that's the same for a movie. I don't know about songs, but definitely for stuff like a game and a movie. So, let's go into this a bit. Let's kind of talk a bit about what some of the things that were cut from BioShock. And I'll link I'll link the stuff that I'm looking at down in the description, down below, like I did in the last video, like I did with the 2 articles that we looked at. I'll link them down and below. So yeah. We're first looking at stuff from BioShock 1. So yeah. So, let's take a quick look at some of the mechanics and gameplay elements that were from BioShock. BioShock was supposed to have just a simple ending. BioShock was originally a game with one ending, with only one ambiguous ending. Levine remarked, "There are a million different things you can do in every combat. You can play it a million different ways. Looking into the future for the franchise, that's something I want to figure out. That by the time you get to the ending of that choice path, you have a sense of your impact on the world through lots of little permutations, rather than just a giant ending piece. If you follow my meaning." The 2 endings were added late in development when the game publisher requested it. So 2K wanted wanted 2 more endings, which basically which from what I remember, Ken Levine rushed. So that honestly, I do feel like the different game endings. I'm going to be doing what I did with I'm just going to quickly add this note here. I'll be doing what I did with the last one, where I added in different commentary bits to, like on my thoughts on all this, just because I to kind of spice things up a bit here. So yeah, I do remember that Ken Levine just rushed the two. So the good ending is the good one, is the best one that he likes that one. So I mean, that's the one I enjoy getting. I haven't gotten any of the other ones because I'm always a rescuer, so you know. That's that. But I do, but I mean, back to but the original thought I was kind of going for was, life, no matter what you do, always has an ending, always has an impact on something. And I can kind of see why the publisher wanted different endings, because if you do one thing at one point in the game, you have impacted something else later on in the game. So therefore, actions have impacts, and everything impacts on other things. So I can sit here, I could be, well, not really, I could be standing here talking about BioShock, or I could be sitting and talking about BioShock. One of these could be having a different impact on me, could have an impact on me. Right now, I feel like standing here and talking is the best way to go about it, because I'm being more healthy. Be a lot more, help me be a little bit more healthier than just sitting there every day working on something. Which, honestly, I feel like is going to be helpful. And we'll see. I'll have to see. I don't know. I don't know how far that's going to go, but something like that will probably help. Meanwhile, just saying there, that's probably not much at the moment. So, yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's go on to another, and I'm probably going to, depending on how far we go with this, I'll probably do like half BioShock 1 and half BioShock 2, depending on how, like the time of the videos. So yeah, I'll just go through certain things. Okay, okay. Okay, so let's kind of talk a bit about some of the cut levels here. So, for one, the Kashmir restaurant, which if you guys are not familiar with, well, hopefully you guys should be familiar with your Rapture lore, well, BioShock lore, I should really say, that is where the attack on where the first attack in the Civil War, pretty much the Civil War began. That was where the first attack by Atlas began. So that is something. So that began the Civil War. So that was the ground zero for the Civil War. So from the website, from the wiki I'm looking at, the restaurant has a block door leading to the Footlight Theater that was supposed to have a lot more bodies than two seen in the game in the front of the door, resembling everyone trying to get out at the same time, trampling each other during the attack on New Year's Eve 1959. So supposedly we were supposed to be seeing more people who died at the front of the door at the very beginning of the game when we're in the building, so that way when we got there we were like, oh dang, a lot of people died here. A lot of people died in this attack. Not a lot of people survived. We can infer. The Atlas statue had a slightly different model than it could be seen in game, and the image is showing a different version. I believe the version in game is actually showed like an actual person with the model, and I believe it's a full globe, if not wired. But this one has a half body. Hold holding a wire globe. And I believe it actually is a wired globe, from what I can remember. It was also, the interior was slightly different. I'm not really going to go describing all of that. Yeah, so they originally were going to try to show, hey, look, a lot more death has happened here, which would have been interesting. I would have found that interesting to look at. I would have really been into looking into that for sure. So yeah. So let's go on into the Footlight Theater, which was not originally supposed to be a theater, but merely a burnt-down shell of a building. So pretty much just imagine the theater, but barely anything in there. Since the game developers had so many assets from the Fort Frolic level, it was decided to change the room into a small theater space to give the Big Daddies and the Little Sister a literal theatrical introduction. I mean, hey, that introduction is it's an introduction. I really liked what they did with that introduction. That's a really good introduction. I can understand why they kept it, why they changed it up instead of making it all look burnt down. It looks nicer. It would work. It looks better. It probably would have looked. It probably wouldn't have worked as nicely with the Big Daddy coming in, killing the one splicer, as opposed to having just that whole bit was a burnt out theater, as opposed to having it looking like, hey, look, up in the upper corner we have the Big Daddy coming in with a spotlight coming in on him, and then he just comes in and just hits him with his drill, and it's like, oh, that hurts. That hurts a lot. But hey, you know, it's gonna be different. I'm gonna say this quickly. My goal is to try to go through different elements, not just every single thing. Just because that would have been like that would just take forever. But still, I won't really cover what was in the what's its face, the Museum of Orphan Concepts, because I mean, if you have the game, you might as well load that up and you can take a look at that. I use that actually for the big Rumbler Big Daddy, which if you've not seen those Bell Talks, highly recommend checking those out. Big recommendation right there. Those are some good talks right there. Were had. One was about some articles. I forget what the other one was about. But yeah. Oh, so in this version, this was the location where the player would originally get the revolver in the Footlight Theater from the thuggish splicer attacked by a Big Daddy. But it was moved to the Kashmir restaurant entrance so the player would get a gun earlier. And you know what? I feel like it was actually a smart idea to actually have the gun earlier and where it was. Because you get to see this woman, talking to her baby in this crib, what we think is a baby in her crib. And then we take her out, and what do we find? She's talking to a revolver. You're like, what the hell have these people been taking? A lot of questions are going into your mind, and I feel like that was a really good story element right there, which I believe one of the Rumbler, if not, the Rosie Bill Talk videos is about storytelling, so I highly recommend checking that out. Honestly, I recommend checking them all out, the Bill Talk videos. Even the ones about my Rapture building of Rapture that I did, check all those out. So yeah, highly recommend checking those out. Those are all highly recommended. I would definitely give those all a recommendation to watch. So yeah. Yeah, okay, back to where I was going at. Okay, I was trying to remember what was I talking about. Okay, this is what happens to me. This is what happens to me. I'm not gonna lie, yeah. Quickly, before I get into talking about getting back into what I was talking about, we have finished the legs of the Big Daddy, which I do like how those came out. Those were nicely designed. Those nicely built, I will say. They do stand out from the Rosie and the Rumbler's legs design. Oh no, wait, I think I'm still... Oh no, I'm almost done. I am almost done with those. There's just a little bit more work to be done. I'm just testing articulation at this point to see how far the legs... Well, the feet can move. Which, I'm okay with how far they move. It's not that bad, in my opinion. But, yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, back to the whole thing I was talking about. I really feel like they did a really good job of that where it makes you wonder, what the hell has happened to this city? Like, what caused these people to go mad and crazy? And, questions like that start forming, at least in my mind, and I'm wondering that, and it's like, okay, something's has been going on in this city, and that causes you to start learning about it. And that's kind of gives you an idea of, like, okay, these are not, like, these people are, they have lost it. Like, they have officially, like, lost, they have, like, they're not, like, I wouldn't really say they're, like, actually, like, normally human, because I feel like the splicers aren't actually human, like, they actually, like, they're not sane, okay? They're definitely not sane. I'm not trying to devoid them of their human right of being a human. I'm not trying to devoid them of being human. They definitely are human in a way, but they've lost a portion of that. They've lost they've kind of lost this identity of being a human being, and they've become this shell of who they used to be. So, yeah. I feel like that scene there where they did that really worked out nicely. Was a really great way to help give us an idea of what we're dealing with in the city. Alrighty, so now into the next room. I'll kind of just cover each level design, and then we'll go from there. So, for the medical pavilion, early promotional images for the medical pavilion show it being full of makeshift barricades and barbed wire, making it appear much more like a literal war zone. Yeah, I was about to say that. This sounds like it would have been a war zone, which, honestly, would have been interesting to see, in my opinion. And this also, the pavilion station was also connected by a separate, was located in a separate building and connected via a was connected to the center via a glass tunnel. So that's actually really interesting. That is really interesting. I find that, like, interesting because that just gives you like it's like night and day pretty much with how the medical center looks now in the actual game to how it was originally thought of, which is crazy. That was back before it was originally released, which is crazy in my opinion. It real crazy. And that's actually a real, like, I mean, oh yeah, that was like, where did they, well, that either Olympus Heights or Apollo Square was where they had, like, barbed wire and all those barricades throughout the tunnels. But yeah, they definitely gave that, like, a war-like feel. I definitely feel that for sure. Yeah, I believe it was both Apollo Heights and Apollo Square and Olympus Heights. They also originally had a Tenenbaum PhD plaque was found in the in the game files for the level, which was not used for the final version of the game. This indicated that Bridget Tenenbaum did have an affair had an office in the medical pavilion at one point during the development. So she at one point actually had an office. I would have loved to have seen what her office looked like. That would have been nice. Now I think probably her office was actually in the final version is actually her home, and I believe Olympus High. No, wait, Apollo Square. I believe it's Apollo Square. Yeah, it's probably Apollo Square. If I'm remembering correctly. I could be mistaken, though. But yeah. I mean, honestly, again, like I said, it would have been cool to see if she actually had an office. But I mean, also, the room we wake up in after we get the reveal of Atlas is Fontaine and all that jazz is really, really interesting. And yeah, I really think they did a really good bang-up job. Like, I feel like that's also an office of hers, so yeah. Although we don't get to explore it, but yeah. I would have loved to have seen what an actual room of an office of hers would have been like. So yeah. You can only imagine what that would have been like, but I'm really curious to see what that would have looked like. So, Arcadia. Players will notice a collapsed passageway at the end of Arcadia Glens. This was originally another way to the Langford Research Laboratories, but it was changed for an unknown reasons. The park would have had two entrances to the farmer's market, as Atlas likes to say. One at the one at Tree Farm, which remained in-game, and the other at Rolling Hills, which would have led directly to the center into the cellar of Worley Winery. Also, early versions of this level had Ryan killing the flora of Arcadian stages as the player progressed in each new area. Honestly, I would have loved to have seen that, actually. That would have been really interesting, instead of just like, BAM! I'm killing all the flora, I'm killing them all right now. No. That actually would have been really interesting. Like, I wonder what they mean by that. Like, actually stages and like he would release certain types of poisons in the air to kill them in different stages? Or would he just kill, like, a section by a time and stage, like that kind of stages? That's actually really interesting. And also, it would have been cool to have that tunnel that connected from Rolling Hills to Worley Winery, because, my god, it's a bitch to get from there to where the entrance is. It's a bitch, okay? It's a bitch, alright? I freaking just went ahead. Every time I do that, I'm like, can I just walk home? I wish there was a quicker way to head back to the farmer's market and head back to the Arcadia. And, it's like, oh, wow, okay. That would have been nice to know. That would have been nice if they actually had that, because then I could have gone there a lot quicker. And I would have gone back a lot quicker, and I wouldn't have to worry about dealing with splicers a lot more. And having to fight them a lot more. But hey, it is what it is, unfortunately. So, yeah. Alrighty, so. Now onto the farmer's market, as Atlas says in the game. The farmer's market was first built twice as large as its final version, with two symmetrical halves and long corridors for the various stalls. Wow, okay then. That would have been interesting to see, actually. But let's continue on here. The level ultimately had to be cut in half for navigational and production reasons, and the market's quarters were separated using doorways. Okay, alrighty, yeah, makes sense. The Rapture Metro Station, found in Arcadia, was first placed in the southeast corner of the farmers market, where a gene bank can now be found. Huh, okay. So, apparently where that one gene bank was is now where a thing for the farmers market can be found. Okay, that's actually really cool. Really cool indeed. It was moved to the rolling hills when development decided to trek back after healing the forest was... Wait, hang on. It was moved to rolling hills when developers decided a trek back after healing the forest was boring and redundant. You know what? I actually get why they would have done that. Because it's like, oh, hey! You gotta go from there back into the farmer's market. I keep saying it like Atlas. Atlas just has a fun way of saying it, okay? He has a fun way of saying it, okay? Don't get on me, okay? Any of you who comment about me saying it the way I say it can go stick it, alright? But, nonetheless, I can see why they cut it. I can definitely see why. I mean, you just finished killing the tree, saving the trees, and now you have to head back all the way to the farmer's market. It's like, really, I'm going to have to waste ammo, and I'm going to have to use Eve, and all this other stuff, and it's like, I could just head to the rolling hills, and but then you could just head to the rolling hills, where this whole thing started nonetheless, and it's like, okay, this makes life so much easier. Plus, dang, that thing being, our farmer's market being as big as it originally was, my god. I was not expecting that. That's really interesting. I probably would be up to having one section just for all the stalls, but I kind of like how it is in the game, though. It actually is nice. It's nice how compact it is. It feels, at least. And I'm not running around like with a chicken with my head cut off, like trying to figure out, okay, I need to head all the way over there, and I'm on this other side, and I need to find the best optimal route to get there, and it's like, okay, at least I can just run around finding the best, things, but, it works at least. They did a good job, I'll say. They did the right idea, though, I will say that. So, also, they have one more thing here. The hanging corpse is found in the crawl space in one of the fruit stalls in the main market was leftovers from an idea of a serial killer loose in Rapture during the fall. I mean, we could technically say that Jack Ryan is a serial killer. I mean, technically. I mean, he killed a lot of splicers, okay? He killed a lot of splicers on his trek through Rapture. In his time in Rapture, okay? He did a lot of trekkage. He did a lot of trekkage through Rapture. He did a lot of killing in Rapture. So, I mean, technically... No, I don't think you would say serial killer. I think you could call him more of a mass murderer. Whatever the term would be for him, he killed a lot of people. Let's not look past that fact. He killed a lot of people. Okay? Jack killed a lot. I get it was in self-defense, but... Again, he killed a lot. You can't just... I can't blame him for that, though, but still. It's like, he killed them. He killed a bunch of splicers. Yet again, that brings up the argument, are they even human? Which again, you can tell me if you think they're human or not in the comment section down below. I kind of think they're not. Because they've gone past the point of insanity. Of being insane, but hey, that's just me. You guys are welcome to give me your thoughts down below. while I just sit here and talk about my things, and stuff. So yeah, okay, let's wrap up. We're about like halfway through the video, a little less, like maybe 10 minutes under. But I want to try to get through the last two room designs, and then we'll head on into BioShock 2, kind of cover stuff from there, and then we'll head off onto the next bit of the video, and then we'll wrap up the video. So yeah. Also, I'll take this quick moment before we get into the next topic, to the next bit, to mention we're now on the point of adding a work on the body. I believe we're getting the helmet on. Yeah, we're working on the helmet of the Lancer, Big Daddy. So yeah, getting the beginnings of the helmet, at least. So yeah, let's do this. So, the Rapture Zoo. The Rapture Zoo was an area that was intended to be included in BioShock as a part of Fort Frolic, which I would have loved to have seen. That would have been really cool. But let's continue on here because I have some thoughts of this. Multiple interviews with developers of the game mentioned that there was a level that was ultimately cut fairly along in the development process due to constraints, and they indicate that it was one of the things that they most regretted having to cut. The only piece of information about this level is that it would have featured an elephant. Imagine an elephant spliced up on frickin' plasmids. Now that's just me mentioning this. I could see them having an elephant on plasmids. That would be frickin' insane. Honestly, I feel like the zoo would have been awesome to have as a second part to Fort Frolic. Like, before Cohen has you leave, he's like, oh yeah, there's one more thing I need you to take care of. I need you to deal with the animals in the zoo. Or something like that. He has you do something in the zoo. Or you have to go through the zoo to get to a part of Poseidon Plaza. Or to get to one of the stores that it would have been in Poseidon Plaza, but it's not. But is on the other side. But is on the other end of the zoo. So yeah. Which causes you to explore the zoo and see all these animals. Which, oh my god, an elephant underwater, that would have been, my god, that is epic. That just sounds crazy. I would love to see that. I'm just imagining an alternate reality where where that actually exists. Where they actually made that. Oh my god, we're missing out on something epic here, folks. But, yeah, oh my god, I believe there's a bit more to that. Yes, the Ferris wheel. They had a Ferris wheel originally. A Ferris wheel was supposed to be included somewhere in the map, but much like the Rapture Zoo, the Ferris wheel was cut late, far in the process. Luckily, this was included in the downloadable content, the challenge rooms, which I've actually tried those. Those things are tricky, my god! My god, I had some difficulty trying to get those challenge rooms done. Those were not easy. Hence the name Challenge Room! I'm sorry. Oh my god, you cracks jokes, okay? I have to have a laugh, alright? If you've ever watched Jacksepticeye, you know, laugh! You know, I probably didn't do it in the right tone, but still, laugh, you know? Gotta laugh. Laugh once in a while. Now we're back to the fairly beginnings of the body, I'm trying to get it right, okay? You know, I try to get these models right, and you know, I do hope you guys do like all the hard work that goes into these. I will say that. Hard work goes into these models. They ain't easy. They ain't easy as they may seem. Yeah, honestly, a freaking Ferris wheel would be freaking awesome to have in the game. That would have been awesome. I feel like that would have been moving, and you would have had like a nitro splicer or something, throwing a grenade at you, some grenades at you while you're going around, and you have to you have to figure out a way to chuck a grenade back at him. Honestly, that would have been dope if they had that in there, but it sucks that it isn't. At least the grenades, not the grenade, but the Ferris wheel still exists, where you have to save the one little sister on the Ferris wheel, which, honestly, that's nice. I actually do like that they actually did that. They actually brought that back in. They actually kept that. So yeah. I'm gonna. That's the end of all the room content on this side of BioShock, and I'm going to now. I feel like it's good to head on over to 2. We'll head on over to 2, why don't we? And we'll go from there, shall we? So, BioShock 2. Okay, I'm just trying to find some here. Okay, so I'm just taking a quick look through here. Okay. And that's all of that. Okay. Why don't we start off with some splicers? Why don't we? So, there's one splicer called the Aqua Splicer, which I remember seeing a video that was covering some of this, and they covered this, and this was just like, oh boy, this would have been awesome if this was actually in the game, but you know. Several pages, so let's get into this. So several pages of concept art in the Devolution art book are dedicated to a splicer that could be underwater named the Aqua Splicer. One designer notes, there were two forms to him. When you're inside Rapture, it could be more upright and have more humanoid look to it. Then, when it would go in the water, what it would look like his arms, what looked like his arms when it was on land became its legs, and more its fins, and would propel itself. So splicers would have a special air sac with leeches attached. The final model for these splicers utilized the same silhouette as the crawler, suggested that these characters would have been a modified version of the crawler's model in order to save assets. In the final game, the only enemies that can survive outside of the sea are the big sisters and the big daddies. Yeah. Boy, imagine seeing these things out in the water. Like after you train Dionysus Park, you're heading into there. Oh boy! You just go in there and you see one of these just swimming up towards you, and you're like, Jesus! I would be like, Jesus Christ! That would be creepy, okay? That just sounds creepy, okay? Yet awesome at the same time. That would have been awesome if that was actually in the game. That would have, like, upped the ante of, like, craziness in BioShock, which, you know, you gotta have in BioShock, you know, you gotta have your daily dose of, shock factor for BioShock. BioShock's got to have that in some way or another. Alrighty, so on to another one here. So there's this one called Waiters, which the game's data includes a texture file for Waiters, suggesting that he was intended to reappear in BioShock 2. Although this texture was used in appearance, he had BioShock. This newly created file for BioShock 2 not only not a merely reused asset. The art style of this texture is less detailed and more realistic than the style used for the other splicers in BioShock 2. It is likely that this texture remains for a relatively early point in production. Okay, I did not know what that was all about. Okay. Okay, let's talk about some of the main characters here. So, Subject Delta. At the point the Hunting the Big Sister trailer was released, the player did not yet have their own model. As such, the video showed the placeholder for the Rosie model to represent the player. Instead, his design went through many iterations of size, helmet, equipment, color, and even as simple as his faceplate shape. One iteration of Delta's design looked like a slight variation of the bouncer. Interesting. Very interesting. An idea for the player's iris aperture, the glove opening, was that he would have a parasite protruding from his forearm, instead of actually experimenting humans to make early Big Daddies. They would use parasites to test plasmids. The iris would open, and the parasite would fire a plasmid. Concept art also reveals that the team went through many concepts when entering Little Sister Eyes. From seeing him as an all-American father figure to a superhero golden knight in shining armor. Interesting, really interesting, actually. And the whole idea with a freaking what's his face? Parasite firing all the plasmid. That's interesting. Like, you have to actually let them. You don't know what that brings up some questions that I have right now. Would you be controlling the parasite, or does the parasite have a mind of its own? Because if the parasite has a mind of its own, then you have no idea what plasmids you're using. All you know is you're using a plasmid, and you don't know what it's using. All you know is that you're about to use a plasmid, and all you know is it's going to do something. You don't know what it's about to do. Which kind of is a bit scary. Kinda. But, I mean, of course, in the game, you would probably obviously have a bit of control over what plasmids you'd use. You would have the control, but still, if that was like, we're talking real-world applications, how would that actually work? How would that work, to be perfectly honest? And that was interesting, to see him as an all-American, little sister seeing him as an all-American father figure. Which, wow, okay then. Okay, that's something right there. To a superhero, to a Gold Knight in shining armor. I believe they did a Gold Knight as the final iteration. I'm going to be starting BioShock 2 later today, after I record this. Actually, after I finish BioShock 1, but still, I'm going to be playing BioShock 2 later today. After I finish recording this. So yeah, since we talked a little bit about her, not about her, but about Delta. Whoop. Tell me that messed with that. Nope. Okay, good. We're still good. Still rolling. Good. I do this all in one take. I have to do multiples, but still. Eleanor Lamb. Alrighty. On to Eleanor Lamb. There's a lot about her. There's a good number about her. So, yeah. If you hear my parents in the background, they just got them. But from their respective workplaces. So yeah, Eleanor Lamb was originally to be a big sister, back when there was a single big sister in Rapture who was to hunt Subject Delta. This was also to be one of the plot twists in the game, revealing the little sister that belonged to Delta was now the main antagonist, but developers thought that the twist was too predictable. Eleanor's role had been changed for the game, although she does become a big sister in the last act for helpful purposes, and the single big sister becomes multiple big sisters, big sister boss battles. Honestly, I feel like that would have been awesome to have that kind of plot twist. Like, you're sitting there, you're working, you're playing the game, you see that sad opening, and then you realize she's hunting you. Oh God, you're like, oh boy, baby Eleanor is hunting after me. Oh God, that sounds a bit scary. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh man, that would have been fun to have. And plus, I believe they mentioned something about, oh yeah, some removed Adam Vision's, I believe that's an audio diary. It was, to be revealed, uh, that Eleanor was the biological daughter of Subject Delta. Apparently, Sophia Lim had obtained genetic material from Delta when he was a test subject and found same characteristics and used it to produce Eleanor. For reasons unknown, this was too scrapped. That and her being ultimately the big sister would have been epic in the game. Okay? You're not just being chased by your daughter, not by a big sister, who is also your daughter. Who's your lister, but she's also your biological daughter. I probably would have been like, wait, what? However, another unused file shows that they also plan to make clear that she was not Delta's daughter. So, it's up in the air whether or not she is Delta's daughter. Actually, is she Delta's daughter? Never addressed it, so, you know. So I mentioned about the doll. The game features a handmade Big Daddy doll, which I actually want to make one of these days. I want to make that doll. There's a couple of things I want to make from things that I've seen in pop culture in my favorite movies, and that's one of them. Owned by Eleanor Lamb, it was made to look like Subject Delta, but the artist was told to make a Big Daddy doll. So they went for the signature look, the bouncer. The bouncer plush can be seen in the teaser for BioShock 2. Eleanor's plush was once a white teddy bear. Huh, okay, interesting. I thought that was going to have this. Honestly, I'm going to say this. From what I noticed in the game, at the ending, and this is a thought of mine, I don't know if this really would be a theory or not, but if somebody can comment down below if I'm actually true, if it's actually real, if it's actually confirmed somewhere or not, but did the doll that Eleanor drop into the ocean have Delta's DNA in it? Because if so, it's pretty wicked that she actually dropped Subject D's. I like to call him Subject D, okay? It's my thing, alright? But she dropped that into the ocean so that way he could never be revived again. It's actually really cool. It's like you sacrificed yourself for your daughter. I like that. I like it lots. Actually. I really do. I just sat down because my laptop could use a bit of a charge. But still, we'll continue this on. Okay. Still got a bit of ways to go, but okay. It's interesting that it would have been a white teddy bear at one point. Because that would have gone dirty really easily with how things were in Rapture at one point. So, now on to the next character here. In the ultimately abandoned introduction to BioShock 2, Sophia Lamb was to act as a guide over the radio, similar to how Atlas led Jack in BioShock. Sophia would have instructed Subject Delta as he navigated Eleanor through the deteriorating city. Once Delta reached Sophia and her safe point, she would betray him like Eleanor, take Eleanor, and kill him just as she did in the opening cinematic of the final version of the game. Now, I want to build on this a bit. It would have been cool to see something like that, but what if she actually was in cahoots with the big sister? like, what if she was talking to like, if the big sister was Eleanor, she was talking to her, like, we have to get rid of him, we have to get rid of this big daddy, and they work on that together, and they come up with this plan on getting rid of him, and they do it, and they work on doing that. They keep, and as we go on, maybe we kind of learn that not Eleanor, but Sophia isn't that good as we think she is. Maybe we kind of see things about her, and she's like, "Oh, don't pay no attention to that. That's just an old thing. This was an old phase I went through." But that's still relevant to this day. To the day that not Jack, but what's his face, Delta is going through. Is going to the day he's walking around. And it would have been dope to have, like, when she, like, betrays, like she actually comes in and says, "Hey, I'm gonna take your kid now." Not actually doesn't go like that, but it's like, okay, we'll take the kid, and, well, not, they reveal who she is, Sophia Lamb, and it would have been like this whole family struggle throughout Rapture. And it would have been really interesting to see, like, maybe she had, like, a reason to help him get through the city. Help him get throughout the city. And maybe this could be also something that could have really added to this idea. Delta could have been like, why do I have a feeling that she betrayed me before? And you die, like, you don't know why you don't have this feeling of trust for her, and yet you realize you died because of her. And that's what happened. That's what caused it. She betrayed you. And then you were like, oh, you betrayed me, girl. You go to attack her, the big sister defends her. You're like, wait, you two are in cahoots? And then you two find out that and then you find out, yeah, we're in cahoots, and then you find out who her daughter, and then they kind of reveal who she is to you, and all that. And that would have been interesting. Kind of a would you kindly moment. So yeah, now we're going to go into the major characters here. There's not much for Sinclair, so we're not going to cover him. He's in the main characters, but we're not going to cover him as much. So, major characters. Richard Tenenbaum had originally a much larger presence in BioShock 2 during the development. Similarly to the first game, she was meant to have given players gifts for saving the little sisters. When the story was finalized, the designers had decided that this was not important for her, and her part was minimized. The role of rewarding kindness was given to Eleanor Lamb. Yeah, that makes a whole lot more sense. That does make a lot more sense. It sucks that Bridget Tenenbaum didn't get much of a role. It doesn't have much of a role as like a small role, but hey. But yeah. I'm just thinking, is there anything else I want to add to this before I continue on? I mean, they do mention that she did have a much larger role in BioShock 2 Minerva's Den. She had a role there. If I can get the page to reload. Come on, reload you. Tenenbaum did get a come on, let's get back to the point where we're at, you. Okay. Bridget Tenenbaum originally Bridget Tenenbaum did manage to get a bigger role in Minerva's Den DLC by awakening and helping Subject Sigma throughout the game. Until, okay, yeah, that's just how they spelled her name. They had a different name for that, which, honestly, that's interesting. I'll say that, but hey. My goodness. But that is interesting, though, that they had that. It's actually, well, at least they gave her a bigger role, I'll say, in the second uh, game, in not in the second, but in the DLC at least, she got more of a role. Hmm. They have something about like how her anger sounded, how she sounded, uh, when you would either rescue or save her little sister. But I'm not gonna play that for you guys here because I don't know if it'll come how well it'll come across on my video on the recording software. So I don't want to risk it sounding crappy. So let's go on to Grace Holloway. We'll cover her, Stanley Poole, then Gilbert Alexander, and then we will try. Then we'll cover as much. Then we can maybe cover uh, some of the minor. If not minor, then we can do some of the actual like some other things from BioShock 2, from BioShock 1. I mean. Oh, actually, real. I know this. Okay, so Sandra Cohen was actually at one point supposed to reappear in BioShock 2 as a 20-foot tall Freudian monster bunny. Removed audio diary from Minerva's Den reveals that he would have been a patient of Sophia Lamb. Jesus Christ, that would have been freaky. God, I can only imagine. That makes so much sense. Oh my God. My God. He must have gone. Something must have caused him to go that nuts. But okay, yeah, Sander Cohen, the man, the myth, and the legend. Okay. Okay, from the Grace Holloway. Cohen was more. That was more of a little piece of info. So yeah, Grace Holloway. According to concept art, a poster reveals that Grace would have had a duet partner named Stanley, both of whom would have performed at a nightclub called the Deep Blue Sea Review under the company Rapture Tone Recordings. Storyboard concepts also suggest that Grace would have been stationed in her dressing room, the Limbo Room, instead of her secret room in the Sinclair Deluxe. Huh. Well, that would have made the level that bit so much shorter. I'll say that. Not that I don't mind how long it is. It actually, that whole bit going for the Sinclair Deluxe actually gets a bit creepy, and I actually do like it. Remember the first time playing it? It was actually, oh boy, that got creepy. It felt creepy. But I'll get more into my thoughts on BioShock 1 and 2 and all those other games in the next set of Bell Talk video. And not next one. Not the next one, no. We'll probably either continue this type of content, talking about these cut content stuff, which might be that route, or or we'll talk about something else. I'll probably look up into something else that we could talk about. But we will also look into, but definitely when we do Subject Delta, that's when I'll be talking about my introduction to BioShock 1 and to BioShock for sure. So yeah, make sure you guys hit subscribe for that. And if you made it this far, please hit that like. Let me know if you enjoyed the content. If you dislike the content, then dislike it. Let me know what I can do to make this better, because I will be trying to do what I can to make it better for you guys. So yeah, let's get back on into this. So, honestly, yeah, there's not much I can really say off of her. But yeah, let's go to Stanley Poole. Stanley Poole Stanley Poole is interesting. He's an interesting character, I'm not gonna lie. That's not on the thing, that's me just saying that. Stanley Poole had another character model within a period-appropriate Hawaiian shirt. The producer stated that it was too out of place for a setting and that it felt too modern. Yeah, looking at the image right now, it doesn't it doesn't feel like it would work for Rapture, to be perfectly honest. It wouldn't work. It doesn't there's nothing that it doesn't really fit. Hell, I mean, the look he has actually works. I mean, it doesn't really match that 1960s, 50 vibe. Which works, though. It works for him, though. So, yeah, before we continue on to this, we're working on the arms for the Big Daddy, for the Lancer. The arms are being dealt with as we speak. And, well, not the arms, the shoulder padding. I mean, the shoulder padding and all that other good detailing. And once that's all done, we'll be going on to the front bit, I believe. Yeah, oh my goodness. Wee bit tired. So, yeah. Back on the Stanley, though. Unused radio correspondences from Dionysus Park revealed that Stanley's personality and role were quite different from what's portrayed in the game's final product. Initially, he enlists Subject Delta into getting photographic proof of Ava Tate's illicit activities. The dialogue paints him as a struggling, prudish campaigner for truth and moral decency who views splicers as deplorable moral degenerates. Wow. That is so different than what he is in the game. It's like a 180 right there. There were many hints that he and Grace Holloway were married, suggesting that Stanley in the Deep Blue Review poster mentioned above really is him. And they raised Eleanor together when Sophia was arrested. Huh, that would have been really interesting if that actually came through. If that was still a concept. If that was actually came into the final product. Although Stanley would have been way different. And we'll cover Ava, what her name was, Ava Tate character a bit. We will look at her if she has any info on her. I'm just quickly look. Yep, there's a bit on her, so we'll look at her quickly after we look at him, before we look at Gilbert. He would have cared deeply for the young girl, despite having to give up their roles as a duet group for the Limbo Room. Stanley appeared happy, though would often sneak out and returning sickly looking. According to Grace Holloway, unused audio diaries, Stanley would have had a baby boy attitude, and at one point left Grace sometime after Eleanor's disappearance. He believes that he never engaged in splicing, though the evidence shows that he did heavily, and he appears to be suffering from amnesia or schizophrenia, or possibly as a result of splicing. Wow. Did he splice during the game? I don't think he did. But dang, that's actually really interesting. I'm going to say that's really interesting that he actually spliced a lot and he actually didn't remember much. And I meant bad boy, not baby boy. Bad boy. My bad. He had a bad boy attitude at one point. Wow, this so doesn't sound like Sander Cohen. Not Sander Cohen. Stanley Poole from what we know of. But of course, that's cut content. Okay, that's cut content for you guys. Things change crazily. So, minor characters. Let's go into the minor characters quickly to cover Ava Tate, and then we'll go back to Alexander. And then this might be the end of the video, folks. We might cover more characters after this. And things from BioShock 1 and 2. But we'll go from there. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, let me remind me. Okay. Ava Tate was intended to be an important character working under Sophia Lamb. Juliette Landau, who also voiced the little sisters in BioShock, recorded her speaking roles, but the character was mostly cut from the game. Much of Tate's character was repurposed for Mille Blanc de Grace. What the heck is she? Is she a character or was that an actress? That might. We'll look at her after we. So many connections here, folks. Ready? It appears that Ava Tate's role changed drastically before she was ultimately cut. Unused radio messages from Diana Park reveal her full name was Ava Marie Tate, and that she used a French-Canadian extraction. And she's French-Canadian extraction. In Rapture's heyday, she was one of the most acclaimed filmmakers of the city and served as a propaganda mill for Andrew Ryan. Similar to how Sander Cohen lauded Rapture from his policies through song, Tate did the same through film. She was a purpose for having both subject delta and responsible for having both subject delta and Sophia Lamb erased from public records. During the events of BioShock 2, she and her network of informants are located in the still pristine Dionysus Park, which she owns. Wow, okay then. Where they throw wild Adam Field parties. Okay then. Kind of reminds me a bit of what not Sander Cohen, but Stanley Poole. What Stanley Poole did in BioShock 2 after Sophia Lamb left, he just took over it and was like, okay, let's have parties, yo. Let's have these crazy parties. Probably splice during those and have them people use Adam and all that. So, the goal of the goal of the level appears to be to gather video evidence from the research camera of Tate's illicit activities. Stanley Poole wants to use the footage to create an expose and ruin her reputation with the public. It would be revealed that it was in fact Stanley Poole himself who had Sophia erased from the public, and later Ava Tate herself. Ava then began working for Lamb while they were both imprisoned in Persephone. Wow. That's actually really cool that she was a filmmaker in Rapture. I would have loved to have seen somebody like that in the game itself, like a filmmaker who filmed videos and movies in the city. I mean, of course, they got that in Burial at Sea, but I mean, it was like those little kinetoscopes. We have those on the surface, I will say that. Those are things that are on the surface. Yeah, they're on the surface. Thomas Edison made those. That's how people saw videos and stuff like that. Oh, yay! I'll say this. We're shrinking the Lancer's body from a 4x6 to a 4x4 plate. Which I just realized, he's the smallest, width-wise, he's got the smallest body size. Which actually works for him, because, he's the most advanced Big Daddy of all time. In BioShock, you might as well give him the most slimmer body size, because he's the most advanced. It worked for him. So yeah. Okay, now on to the other gal, and then we'll go to poor Alexander. He keeps getting pushed around. My bad. The poor man. What was the gal's name? There she is. Mille Blanc de Glace. I believe that's French. And this was in BioShock 2 multiplayer. So I have not played multiplayer. I only have the collection, and that does not have multiplayer, unfortunately. Which I would have loved if it actually did, because then I would have played that, and yeah. But, yeah. So, Blanc, forgive me if I'm butchering this. It's French, and I don't speak French. I know Latin, but I don't know French. So, yeah. Blanche was supposed to be a lot older and road-worn. Wow, okay, I need to look up what that means. than what we see in the game. Her idol was about how she had trouble finding jobs because much younger starlets got all of the roles. Her nickname was also one starlet. Huh. I can relate to her. It's so hard to get a job these days, folks. It is so hard to get a job, okay? Trust me. It is hard to get a job, okay? That's kind of one of the reasons why I just put my time and energy into YouTube. It's so hard to get one of those. So hard to get one of them. It's so hard to get those, okay? I mean it. You're looking at a guy who's trying to get one of those, okay? You're listening to one, actually, but still, it's hard to get one of those, okay? Real talk, it is hard to get one of those. So, now on to Gilbert Alexander. And maybe we'll cover like one or two minor characters before we wrap this video up, depending on how much time is left. Alrighty, so Gilbert Alexander. Gilbert originally made the Big Sister costume and it was in contact with the Big Sisters that would have mutated him. There was an idea that if Gil was in control of all the Atom, where the Atom-infused plants appeared indicated his prior presence in that location, showing his influence over Atom as well as the plant life surrounding him. Interesting. Very interesting, I will say that. That would have been a very interesting concept. But unfortunately, he's just a giant, I don't know what the heck he is in that tank. I'm just going to call him a big creature, a giant creature in the tank, just swimming around doing who knows what in there. And eating on all that Atom-infused plants. And now on to, let's look at a couple other minor characters, not major, but minor. Let's look at a couple. Not much left. We already looked at Sander and we looked at Ava, so the rest are BioShock 2 guys, but there's also Splicers, which we've looked at a couple. We can look at one more. But yeah. So yeah. Cindy Meltzer, the daughter of Mark Meltzer, encountered in Fontaine Futuristics, who was to have a blonde-haired little sister model instead of a brunette seen in game. This was never implemented because of lack of development time. Jordan Thomas even hoped to add an achievement/trophy for saving her. Yeah, I make the joke about how with my models, how with all my little sisters, they're all brunettes and and none of them are really, like have any other hair color. Just because, it's like, hey, look, BioShock 2 did it. I did it as well. It's just a little thing to give myself a little bit of a laugh because, hey, look, I did the same thing they did. I ain't getting any repercussions for it, though. It's not like they got repercussions, but it's just funny. So yeah, I think we have time for one more, and I mean one more splicer, and then we're done. We're gonna wrap it up in here, and I believe it'll be BioShock 2. I'll see about what I can get from BioShock 1. What's left in BioShock 1? There's some good stuff left in BioShock 1 for sure that I haven't covered yet. But yeah, oh yeah, there's definitely some stuff left. Yeah, we might go through a bit of, BioShock 1 next time. Just BioShock 1. And if I have to, Infinite, just because. There are some interesting things from Infinite, though, so I will say that. Okay, so, the final splice, well, there's actually two final splicers. We can cover, So, let's go over this guy, the Jester. Jester is concept art depicting tall, thin individuals dressed up in beautiful Jester costumes and masks appears in the Deco Devolution art book. there is no information written about these slender figures, so it's impossible to tell whether they would have been enemies or simply appeared as entertainers in the opening cinematic. But during the flashback, like Rapture Citizen models. The images in the book do appear alongside with Survivor model, and two other designs show no visible mutations. However, the other two jesters depicted have unnatural or just plain mutated physique. The pose of some of the jesters suggests that they may have been spider splicers. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's just look at the last splicer here, and then we'll wrap it, and then we'll just cut to the then we're going to jump to the outro. Well, I'll record the outro. You guys will have a bit of silence, but still. I'll just quickly say this. The jester seems like he doesn't really have much. Oh, wait. Oh, there's actually some more here. Oh, there is more here. Then I realized I probably didn't do it because of my thing not being opened up. I didn't have the thing up. Oh, there's even levels here. We're definitely coming back to this too, folks. We're coming back to this. But yeah, we're coming back to this as well. We're going to have to come back to this. So yeah, let's just do the last guy, the Brute and Ducky. Concept art reveals that there was a proposed idea to combine Ducky Splicer model's attire with the Brute's Splicer. The concept image shows the Brute wearing two of Ducky's outfits variants, the second and orderly uniforms from BioShock 2. It can be assumed that this would have been an area-specific choice, much like Toasty's prison uniform being encountered in Inner Persephone or Lady Smith's nurse uniform in the medical pavilion. Interesting. So we actually have a lot more. I didn't really cover much, but yeah, we've got a lot more to go over, like other levels. We've got Minerva's Den we can cover quickly as well. We have a number of things we can cover here. So I'll be covering all of that in the next video, in the next one. So yeah, let's wrap. I'm gonna end the recording portion of this thing here. There's still gonna be a bit more of this stuff going on here. You guys will be able to see all that. I will be heading on to the outro portion, and you guys will be hearing me there. So yeah. I'll be seeing you guys in the outro. Alrighty, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it for you guys. It was great to just look at some of the cut content from BioShock. If you want more, check out the links down below. Also, wait till Monday. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you get till Monday to see more of the cut content that I'll be covering next on that episode. So yeah, this is Damien from DKBrickStudios. Oh, before I sign off, please like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that other good stuff of that. Check out my friends all rise. Link to that in the description down below, as always, along with my other channel, DKBrickStudios. Link to that in the description down below, as always. along with my Patreon, link to that in the description down below. And I believe also my social, link those in the description down below. And yeah, this is Damien from DKBrickStudios, signing off for the fourth of us. I'll see you all in the next video. Chasing the dark from the night. Trust in your feelings and find a new hope. Take your best shot and let go.